get to moving into the week, and I'm excited for this one. I'll tee it up if you don't mind, because it was started as Andy's idea. I made a minor tweak to it. This week's Who Win of the Week is the Doritos Locos Taco. Here's my question for you right away: Supreme or no? Because Supreme has lettuce, tomato, and sour cream on it as well, doesn't it? Or maybe no sour cream, but it definitely has lettuce, tomato. Whereas the Doritos Locos Taco alone is just beef and cheese in the Dorito shell.
It has to be Supreme because, going up against this opponent, if you want it to be fair, it has to be Supreme.
Yes. Okay, so then the opponent is the KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken Famous Bowl. So as I just broke down the Doritos Locos Taco, as it's the Dorito shell, the beef, the cheese, the lettuce, tomato. The Famous Bowl from KFC is a bowl with mashed potatoes, popcorn chicken, corn, shredded cheese, and gravy. And it's all in a bowl together, and you eat it together.
Sure. Like a monster.
You go ahead, Andy. You start us off.
Okay. So, man, what to say? Okay. We all know what the Doritos Locos Taco is. Okay, nobody has any misguided opinions about this. We are aware that this is a chip that they made into a taco for promotions. We know that the meat is not real. We know that the cheese probably isn't real. If there's a way to make fake lettuce, then they probably throw that in there too. We know that this is an item so processed. However, the KFC Famous Bowl, that to me, it feels like the bowl is not even trying. Okay, at least they kind of, with the Doritos Locos Taco, at least they look in your eyes when they spit in your mouth. But the Famous Bowl is just like, at least they kind of dress up the Doritos Locos Taco a little bit, all right? They give it the impression that this is a food that's acceptable to eat. The Famous Bowl, I'm just going to say it, the KFC Famous Bowl is like a trough for overweight Midwesterners. And I think that it's like a gelatinous cube. This is a thing. This is a D&D thing, but it's like a gelatinous cube. It's not very smart. And I'm not gonna. And you know what? I will say. I think that the Doritos Locos Taco, there is a sharpness to it. Whether that's intellect or not is probably unlikely, but I think that the Doritos Locos Taco, at the very least, is certainly more athletic than the Famous Bowl. There's nothing athletic about the Famous Bowl. Doritos Taco is certainly a little more athletic than the Famous Bowl. So that's a point right there. And it just seems a little smarter. I'm not going to say it's a genius, but it does seem like the Doritos Locos Taco could, at least whether it's good or not, put some semblance of a plan together. Whereas the Famous Bowl, that thing is just, just running in and not thinking twice about anything.
I have actually never disagreed with something more in my life. And let me start from the beginning, as you were allowed to start from. First of all, you've never even had a Famous Bowl.
That's true.
I've had both items. Both items taste delicious. The Famous Bowl is above and beyond more delicious. It is way better than a Doritos Loco Taco from an eating standpoint. And I love tacos, but I'm just telling you right now. If I go to Taco Bell, Yes, please do. If I go to Taco Bell, I don't order a Doritos Locos taco. If I go to KFC, the only thing I order is a KFC Famous Bowl. You say that the KFC Famous Bowl isn't athletic. Let's break it down. You have protein in your chicken. You have carbs in your mashed potatoes. You have vegetables in your corn. So if you're trying to tell me right now that you think, from that perspective, that the Doritos Locos taco is more athletic than a Famous Bowl, incorrect. And I'm not done. 1v1, they're in the ring. So just to clarify, Famous Bowl, way more enjoyable to eat. If you've never had one, go get one before you vote on this poll when it goes to the internet. Because I will tell you right now, there's no chance that if you sat down and ate a Doritos Locos taco and you ate a Famous Bowl, that you could tell me that the Doritos Locos taco is better. But now back to the fighting perspective of it. I'm assuming that if you... This is going to sound very abstract, but if you're a Famous Bowl fighting a taco, you have, I would say, the chicken are like your soldiers, right? The chicken are going to attack that taco. You're going to smother that motherfucker in gravy. You're going to bury it in mashed potatoes. And then you're going to dance on its grave. And then everybody's coming to the party. The corn's coming. The cheese is coming. The Doritos Locos taco, and we've talked about this before, I believe it was with the Choco Taco. So similar. The only defense that the Doritos Loco Taco has is to use its shell as a weapon. Like, get a sharp point of the shell and use it as a weapon. But at that point, it's internally, it's broken, right? It's almost bleeding out at that point. You're losing your taco ingredients all over. And that's the worst. You never want to break a hard shell taco. And even if he has that knife, people to know that even if
get so much to say.
Even if he has a knife-like object that he built from his own taco shell can't cut chicken. And even if he gets a good stabbing on one, you smother that bitch with gravy, make that shit soggy. He's got no more weapon. You use the mashed potatoes as a wall, a defense against the stab, because the stab's not hurting mashed potatoes, right? They just, and you compare it to like a bowl of gelatin or something like that. Fuck out of here! You've never even had a Famous Bowl.
A gelatinous cube.
And I know you, and I know that you would love the fucking Famous Bowl. I know you. If you ate one, you would eat that shit every fucking day. Because I know you like corn in your mashed potatoes, and I know you love KFC popcorn chicken because it's all you used to eat. You love Popeyes. I'm telling you, Andy. Is there a KFC around you? Honestly.
Yeah.
When we get off this podcast tonight, go pick up a KFC Famous Bowl. They're $5 for the Famous Bowl combo. You get a drink and a cookie and a Famous Bowl for $5. I get 2 of them.
Cookies from fast food places.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to eat the cookie. It's about the Famous Bowl.
I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I don't want to do that, so excuse me. Okay, so I agree with one thing that you said, and that is that much like a gelatinous cube or the blob, it would be difficult to puncture the Famous Bowl, right? So that can't necessarily be your play. About the athleticism and your points on that, saying you use the chicken as soldiers and then you smother it all in gravy. Okay, what are we talking about here? It's not a...
But you compare the Famous Bowl to a fat person.
We're not talking about...
You could compare a fucking taco from a fast food restaurant to a fat person too.
If I did compare it to a fat person, that's not what I meant to do.
So that's what you did.
Well, so...
Suck it.
Oh my God. I may have said it was for fat people. That's what I said. I didn't say it was a fat person itself. Geez. So, it's we're not talking about these ingredients as they are individually. We're talking about the whole, the parts, or excuse me, the whole, not the parts.
But you broke the taco down like the taco was for like skinny people and like people.
But I did not. But what no. And what I didn't do, what I certainly didn't do.
You said it was more athletic. You said a taco was more athletic than a famous bowl.
It is. I'm looking at a famous bowl right now. A famous bowl reminds me of like those gross dips that are like 5 layers, and one of the layers is like just mayonnaise. That's what a famous bowl. I'm looking at a bunch of pictures of them right now, and it's making me nauseous. It does not look good. And sure, you know, corn is good, mashed potatoes are good, cheese is good, chicken is good. It doesn't mean they're all good together. But that's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about if these two were going to fight. Now,
you're telling me this looks gross? Did you just Google KFC famous bowl and go to images?
Yeah.
Because I'm on it right now and my goddamn mouth is watering.
That's insane. I can't believe that you are finding
Andy,
these photos appetizing.
I have seen you eat corn and potatoes with gravy on it with chicken. You put all that together, make it popcorn chicken, and chuck some cheese on there. Andy, let me tell you right now.
That just doesn't sound good. I want to talk more about
the problem is that you never had a famous bowl. All right, talk about the fighting. Talk about the famous bowl is going to kick the taco's ass.
No, that's not true in the slightest.
Why?
I'll tell you why right now. Jesus Christ. First of all, your argument about the taco shell applies, if it's not completely irrelevant, then it certainly applies so much less than the Choco Taco conversation because of what the shell is containing. Choco Taco, that's containing ice cream, right? That's going to leak out. The Taco Bell meat is so adhesive and stuck together that the Doritos Locos taco would be able to take multiple punctures to the shell. It could certainly, you know, if it wanted to, use pieces of its shell as a weapon without breaking the integrity of the taco as a whole. Now, like I said, and I admit it's going to be different. If that's your move, if you're trying to stab a famous bowl, that's not going to make any sense.
No, there's no play. So what is the offense? What offense does a taco play? Sorry, I was yawning. What offense does a taco play then if it can't stab?
I think so. So the taco, again, it's thinner, it's quicker than the bowl, than the whatever it's called, the famous bowl. It's quicker than the famous bowl. The famous bowl is kind of like, you know what I mean? So I think the move for the taco is to get the famous bowl off balance, and I think that with the taco shape and everything, I think the taco could easily tip the famous bowl onto its side over, because as soon as you do that, you got a turtle on its shell.
I'll tell you right now, there's no chance that the taco could lift the famous bowl. If I went out to the store and theoretically bought a famous bowl and a Doritos Locos taco, and I tried to lift with my own hand the bowl with the shell would break. A famous bowl is dense. It's heavy, Andy. There's a lot of food in that bitch. I'll tell you right now.
I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying it's going to deadlift it. I'm not saying it's going to deadlift it.
But you're not going to be able to tip him.
I'm not saying that it's going to deadlift it. What I'm saying is that it gets the bowl off balance and that it's able to use leverage to tip it over. I think it could do that easily, especially with the speed difference between these two foods. You've seen how quickly a Doritos Locos taco can come out of you. Imagine how quick it's going to be in the ring.
One, I think that you thought way too much about that line. You've been saving that one.
That just came to me as I said it, but that's going in the clip. That's going in the clip for Friday.
I don't
for
believe
sure.
that whatsoever. One and two, Andy, I'll send you a Venmo right now. Order fucking Uber Eats KFC on your phone right now, Famous Bowl, and when it gets there, if you can honestly eat it incompletion, and call me after and say, Matthew, I don't think this famous bowl is as good as a Doritos Locos Taco. I'll Venmo you like the whatever it costs. But you're going to enjoy. You're going to be like, oh my god, this opened a whole new fast food realm. I know you're a Popeyes guy sometimes. I was never a Popeyes or
guy
KFC
all the
guy.
way. Popeyes, yeah.
I'm telling you, if you try a famous bowl, it will change your life, and it will change your opinion on this stance. But
it looks so gross. But again,
it's so good.
We're not talking about.
Gross.
It looks so gross.
I know, but
again,
I think that if
that's
you,
not what
I know
we're
we're not
talking
talking about. I know we're not talking about how it tastes, but I'm saying if you ate it and realized how delicious it was, if I were to become
more familiar with me,
you would agree with me that this. So I'm just gonna come out and say it.
I find that impossible to believe.
I'm gonna lock in my answer here. I'm locking in the famous bowl. Andy,
boy, I have to not look at that tab anymore. The Doritos Locos Taco is without a doubt winning this fight. 100%. I think that the athletic ability, and again, not saying that the taco is a genius, but the intellect that it brings into this fight with the famous bowl, it outmaneuvers it every step of the way. So Doritos Locos Taco for the win, absolutely. I'm locking that in myself.
the only reason that I'm accepting your answer for now and not just absolutely going apeshit is because you haven't had one. And once you have one, you'll come to your senses. So I'd really just like you to try one, preferably tonight, and just be honest. Nobody's going to blame you for realizing that you're wrong once you have one because you've never had one. You know what I mean?
Sure. Even if I enjoy the bowl eating it, I think I'm still right in this moment that the taco is going to win, without a doubt. I have no if I eat this bowl and it tastes good, I've got no problem admitting that, obviously. But again, that's not what we're talking about.
I know, but you know where I'm coming from, though. If you ate it
Sure.
and appreciate it and understand how the ingredients work together in harmony, you'd be like, "There's no way this fucking bowl loses to a stupid ass taco."
I think it absolutely does, and I don't think the taco is the one that's stupid, as I've stated.
All right. I mean, again, we're gonna leave it up to social media. You heard what we had to say. I'm curious to what people think about this one. I am pretty sure that they'll side. You had never even heard of a famous bowl when I suggested it?
No, I've heard of the famous bowl because I know that you've gotten them before.
Don't even get me started on the spicy famous bowl. That'd beat the wheels off a taco. But anyway, it is what it is. Agree or disagree. Go vote on social media. Let us know what you think. Prove Andrew wrong again. I can't even believe Andrew agrees to keep playing this fucking Who Would Win of the Week game because I just absolutely demolish him week after week.
That's not true at all. I know I'm right, particularly in this instance. And
how are the kids next door doing? You knew you were right in that instance too, huh?
And I am. It does not matter. Okay, Andy, with that one, it doesn't matter with the Danny Trejo one either. This episode
comes full circle. Ready? Because we're gonna touch on this and then we're gonna call it to a close. You're entitled to your opinion, but when people vote on something and the majority votes for one thing, that's the thing that ends up being correct, right?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you just got shit on. Talk about full circle. I hope people battled through our election conversation just to hear me just absolutely take an upper decker in your toilet.
Oh, man. Look. Sometimes
you don't even have to respond. Folks,
sometimes the correct opinion is not the popular one.
Isn't the most popular one? I know. However,
sure, in the annals of history, time will tell. But oftentimes, the lens of history flips the switch. But this switch will not need to be flipped because the Doritos Locos Taco wins this fight. And when we take it to Twitter and Instagram, it's going to win there as well.
I mean, I guess only time will tell. I just don't think there's a chance in hell that. I think you're underestimating how loyal the fan base for a KFC Famous Bowl is. If you had it, you would understand and you would jump on board. This is my biggest thing. You gotta fucking eat it. All right, I'm done having this conversation.